Welcome back, everyone. This is Cover Dish, the show where we cook it up and eat it, honey. Ugh.
I'm Brooke Cardis.
And I'm Eileen Galvin. What's
Eileen,
your
give
name?
us an explanation. Okay, is it a necklace under the collar? Which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anyone else who can pull this off. So give me the look. Yes.
It's kind
Okay,
of
I can see it now.
Yeah, it's kind of a retro thing. I got this at the Icing at Tuttle Mall. Very classy.
Oh my God. Are those stores still around?
I'm not quite sure, but my
But
20-year-old
this
me,
is.
yeah, 20-year-old me seriously went down to the piercing pagoda, got my ears pierced at 20, and then I walked my little ass down to the Icing and I got my first costume jewelry necklace, which was this lovely lady you see under my collar right here.
It was your baby's first costume necklace. I
Hmm.
feel
This
emotional.
necklace had to walk so I could run.
In heels.
In heels, yeah.
Love it.
Hmm.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Well, give us a look.
Do you
Give
want to
us
see the full moment?
I want to see the full Yeah. What are we doing here?
What are we
What are we doing
doing?
here?
If not for the moment, where would we be? So I do have to put on the glasses that match the outfit, but
Obviously the glasses match the outfit. I'm not exactly sure what they match, but I love them.
honey, they match. Look at the material. They match the
Mm,
material.
they match the
Yeah,
material.
but no, I can't see. I can't see shit with these glasses on, so I had to start the episode with the real glasses on, and
And
then I
then
had
do
to
a trade.
yeah, and then
Yes.
I had to switch
We
to the
love
costume
we
glasses.
love to
So
see it.
we
Yes.
we do love to see it when we
We
can
love
actually see.
we love to feel it. Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna just push
Oh.
my grandma blanket back here. Hold on one sec.
Oh my God, I almost thought about putting a blanket on my legs because they were cold, and I was like, I'm in a crop top. Like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, a romper.
Yeah, so this is actually a full length pantsuit.
Oh, give us it. Look at that piping. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got some white piping on it. I feel like it's kind of tropical, but in Ohio, you never know when the chill is going to come back. So maybe you're going to an evening luau and it's in the
Yes.
lower 60s, and you need to throw on a full piece suit that still speaks to the tropical summer fantasy in Ohio in the Midwest.
Yes.
So here we
Yes.
are. Brooke, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you get the actual tropical fantasy. And no,
That
I'm not
is
bitter about that at all.
You seem to be really doing well with it.
I'm in
I
a
feel
great
like
place. This outfit says I'm in a great place.
it says I'm in a great place. I feel like there's very strong, like going to a rosé tasting at a garden party in March vibes.
Oh, no, bitch. This is a rosé tasting at like um Rose's Parlor down the street in the subdivision.
Yeah.
It's like one of those trunk wine tasting parties in somebody's living room. That's what I would wear this to that.
It's like Mary Kay, but it gives you a headache. That wine will kill you. Oh, that shit is like an ice pick in your eye. I love it. I love the 60s looks you've been serving us. I really like it's just a forgotten fashion era, and I'm here for it always.
Thank you. I think that our color palettes are really neutral these days. And
Yeah.
what I love about some of the earlier decades. Oh, it
Oh,
looks
you
like.
went away.
Well, how about that?
I mean, I love your tiny little precious headshot. There you are. Ba-da-da-da.
Sometimes my USB hub likes to go out, so if that happens, just bear with me. I might have to switch ports in the middle of this.
I get it. I'm literally in all black. I'm in all black.
Girl.
Because that's it. That's all
But
I
it's
own.
iconic. It's your signature look.
It is my
It's your signature look. That's what that is.
It's my signature look and my body dysmorphia from my teenage years. My mom told me my mom told me that gray made me look like a hippo. And I think like in her mind, she was just like not attractive. But like when you're 9 and you hear that, like you never wear gray again. Like you just burn all of your gray.
Absolutely. It's
I
like
don't own anything gray.
you're like,
Like
cool. I don't want to look like a zoo animal, so I'm going to avoid that color entirely. That's the natural response to that as a child. Shout out to parents giving us reasons for therapy.
Woo! Well, I feel like our parents were like the Weight Watcher generation, right? Of like,
Yeah. Oh, Skinny
Just
Cow.
like-
Skinny Cow, 2 points.
oh God, fucking skinny cow. Also, that shit is made of straight plastic. Like, it's amazing any of us can shit.
Yeah.
My mom had reduced fat cheese. Have you ever tried to melt reduced fat cheese on a baked potato?
Oh, girl.
It just like curls around the baked potato. It just curls around it, but it never melts. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like.
Yeah, the dietary acrobatics. We're already getting into the theme.
We are.
Yeah.
Hoeing out.
Hoeing out and the things you have to do to get it, you know? The unhealthy things.
Speaking of, you can hoe out. Well, you can hoe out in any size or shape. We love to see that.
You certainly can. Judgment. And that is.
You disappeared again.
Oh, where am I? Where am I? Brooke, it's dark. Are you there?
Are you there? It's me, Eileen.
I'm still here. I'm just switching ports. Bear with me for just one moment.
I love that. Well, I will explain to our viewers that I made a recipe that I've never actually made tonight in theme with our high protein theme. That might be a little crass for some of y'all, but if you do some thinking, you can put it together. And you really need to up your protein if you're going to be out hoeing.
Speak on it, sis.
Reasons. First of all, increase exercise and activity. You need that energy. We don't need simple carbohydrates. They're not going to last unless you're bad at sex. And then you just need simple carbohydrates. But I know you're not because you're watching this show.
If you're a bottom, avoid them at all costs.
And then, of course, we want the protein because you need to actually be full if you're going to consume any alcohol or drugs or substances. Because mostly, especially alcohol, like we haven't been drinking as much. You've been staying in, you haven't been drinking out at bars, and now you're heading out. Yeah. You're going to have 2 martinis and be on the ground. Like you're not, that's it. So making sure you actually eat, and these can fit in your purse. So hit me on the dish tab.
What is that little ramekin you got there? What is it? Tell us what that is.
Let me see if I can you see it? Oh.
Hold on. There she is. There she is.
Ooh.
The focus.
So our roasted curry chickpeas.
The focus. It looks great.
And I tried them. I tried a new spice mix tonight. Oh.
Ooh, the auditory component of the evening. So crunch. Are they tasty?
So crunch. They are.
When you said you could fit them in your purse, I was imagining Napoleon Dynamite with like a zipper pouch on his cargo pants. And you could just at any time, like when you're like going down to the mall and you're passing the limited 2, you can just be like, I feel like a chickpea.
Girl, these are the perfect traveling snack. Put them in a little bag.
So I'm interested in the process, Brooke. Can you tell us about how difficult this dish would be on a scale?
So I gave it a 1. One thinking emoji.
You were like,
I'm like,
phoned
call,
it in, honey.
What do I do? No. I did phone it in.
No.
So I have had deep fried chickpeas out at bars. They're always a bar snack like that they'll have out.
Yeah.
And I try to make them at home and they're gross.
Yeah.
So I tried sauteing them. They never got that way. Got like crispy enough. And even these, they really have to be fresh to stay crispy. So like if you're going to make these, make them for when you're heading out the door. Don't make them the day before.
Oh, yes.
But you cook them in olive oil and sea salt, 400, at least 30 minutes. I do mine 40 minutes, but because I like them really crunchy.
Yeah.
And then you toss them in the spices after, like right after while they're hot, toss them.
Oh. So they like kind of cook into them a little bit?
Because apparently I didn't know this, and this is why I changed my recipe. Spices can burn. And I'm like, of course they can. So if I'm putting curry, which is a really sensitive mixture, on these chickpeas, which you don't have to use curry, you can use chili powder, cumin, cayenne, do a combo.
Delicious.
I use curry and cayenne and red pepper and pepper and salt. And I threw in some ground ginger because I like to taste ginger. But you can put it in whatever you want. Some of the spices are so sensitive, they burn off. They burn, and that's gross. So it's a really good pro tip. Yeah. And then the other pro tip is dry your chickpeas, girls. Really,
you're never going to catch
them down.
You're never going to get a man with those chickpeas.
But they're savory, they're protein packed, and they're portable.
Yeah. Now, girl, I've had your roasted chickpeas before. I don't know if they're exactly the same as these, but they were so tasty.
Mm.
In fact, they were a little too tasty. You know how like sometimes roasted salted nuts can be a little too dangerous and you just keep eating them? Do you know what I mean? Do you ever have
Well,
that
that's,
issue?
oh my God. At like, oh, what is the bar that always has those little snacks? Oh my God. And it always, these little sweet and salt. Yeah, they're gone.
Antiques? No.
No, I don't know. No one has bar snacks anymore. Anyways, yeah, like a salty,
Who's
sweet
got time for
nut.
bar snacks in this economy?
And then, but I like these because there's like no sugar in them. And I don't love a lot of sugar when I drink because I have my sugar in my booze. And we don't need extra sugar.
Well, also,
So,
we are now internet moms. We've rounded past 30, so processed sugar doesn't do too well in my system the way it used to.
oh my God, remember
Has-
the shit we would eat?
Adverse effects.
Oh my gosh. I also, I will say, and please give your recommendations for a proper Hoin summer.
Mm.
My Hoin summers in my 20s, I would be like, I'm going to go out. We're going to go out to some dive bar. I'm going to have 5 wheat beers and then go home with someone. I'm like, how did I do that? Like, just gastrointestinally, how did I do that?
Summer shandy. By like Lagunitis or something,
Something light. It was like, you'd have like 4,000 calories, beer bloat, a terrible stomach ache. You'd be burping up everything. Like now now I have like Stella and I'm like, I'm done for the night.
Now I just look at alcohol and I get acid reflux. That's what happens. I used to love appletinis. I loved a neon drink, but gay people, who hurt you? Because there are so many sugary drinks that are popular at the bar, and now I can't handle any of them. Of course, I'm a little bit of a day walker because I say that, but I also drink like a lot of bourbon drinks, and I've heard from a lot of people that we're just talking and I haven't switched back to the main discussion. So
we're the dish, yeah.
Now we're the dish. Now the inmates are running the asylum, honey.
Eileen, we need to pause because Eileen Galvin is a magician. Eileen can do something that no one else can do, which is Eileen can like start the night with a martini, switch to a Manhattan, and roll out the night with a gin and tonic and wake up the next day. And it is magical. Like, I have to make the choice. My first order, like, to the bartender is, all right, what are you drinking? And I'm like, that's what I'm drinking the rest of the night. I can't switch. I don't know what your body is.
Well, honey, God doesn't give with both hands. So I can't handle sugar, but I can sure switch up spirits.
Which is amazing. Anyway, so we are here to talk about being the best wing person you can be.
Yeah.
This
And
summer
also,
and every summer.
Sometimes you're the moment. So we're also talking about being the best, main attraction you can be. But it's nice to switch it off, just to kick off the discussion right away. If we're talking about hot girl shit in the summer. Now, we said we were going to have a very frank and academic discussion this evening. All sides with Ann Fisher. So yes. I would just throw it right in there, girl, and say, if you are going to be the main attraction, that means you are going to be relying on the support of other people. And you have to remember that sometimes it's their turn to be the main attraction.
I think that's really interesting. And I love that. And I think, as I think about like my best wing people, we are attracted to vastly different people.
We've talked about this before on this show.
But even my other wing people, where I'm like, oh, why do we work so well? And it's like, we're like, oh, women and femmes should never be in competition and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but we are. There's butch scarcity in the Midwest. I'm going to say it. Butch scarcity, which is not my idea. I did not coin it. Another very brilliant white lesbian attorney in Columbus, Ohio said it, and I haven't asked her if I can credit her, but she came up with it. And it's this concept that there's not enough butch women to go around for all of the femmes.
You know what? It's honestly, it's the same thing. At least, when I was a gay boy a number of years ago, the same conversation. In another lifetime, before these diamonds fell onto my chest. We were in the same conversation about tops and bottoms, like top scarcity,
right.
Which is so funny that men, I think cis men, frame the conversation around sexual role rather than presentation. Maybe that's just anecdotal. That might not actually be a thing.
In queer culture, like how we dressed in queer culture and LGBTQ history, how we dressed cued how we fucked.
What does this say? Brooke, what would you say this look says about me?
I think it says you make a killer casserole and you are a power bottom.
I think it says I was just fired from the circus and I went to go join the Flaming Lips. And they couldn't handle me, so I joined the B-52s. That's what I think it says about me.
I think that's also fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that works. But yeah, like this, right? Like culturally, like where butch fashion came from, the wallet chains and all the things that like used to cue to people what you did in bed because you couldn't be out. So you were just at a bar, you dress a certain way, and that cued a certain series literally of sex acts. We are past that, which is great. Live your life, king out. I could be the butchest person you know and be dressed like this. It doesn't matter. Like there's no whatever.
Yeah.
But especially in the Midwest where gender roles are so strong to still be heteronormative.
Uh-huh.
It's like, I meet a butch person and they were like, well, I've been told by potential butch partners, I'm not femme enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because they just are like, they need the complete opposite spectrum to feel valid.
Absolutely. Now, you know what has simultaneously been the most freeing thing and the most infuriating thing for me? Is I feel like a lot of that expansion of gender expressions lining up with roles is due to a greater visibility and understanding of non-binary people because they're the bridge, the gap, the wedge. They like fuck up all these categories. Oh, excuse me. But it's very freeing because I think you get to say at the same time, I'm going to do what makes me feel sexy. So I think your relationship with yourself is the most important thing. Period. So you have to like what you're seeing in the mirror first. And so then you're like, well, screw everyone else. This is what makes me feel sexy. This is my hot girl shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it's full coverage. Maybe I have a little bowl cut on my head, you know? But that's what makes me feel good. And then the flip side of that coin is that when you don't fit into those traditional roles, even within the queer community, which is so crazy to me, if you don't fit into the heteronormative rules of attraction, of sexiness in the queer community, then you're basically illegible as a sexual being. Right. People are like, I don't get what's going on there. That doesn't make sense to me. Or they'll try and like put their expectations on you, like, oh well, you know, can you be more butch or can you be more femme?
Oh yeah,
it's like no, actually.
I actually had a woman once offer to like pay for me to get fake nails put on. This is years ago.
Wow.
And I was like, like I am a klutz. I am always cooking. I would break off my nail into my stew. I'm just not designed for fake nails. Like you've seen me in the kitchen, girl. I don't even know what would happen. And I just was like, oh my God, you know, no, thank you. Like I appreciate the offer.
No, thank you. Yeah. That is.
But it was like, oh, I'm really attracted to that. And that's like the piece of you for your femininity that's missing. And I was like, well, this is just exhausting and fascinating and like, cool. I'll read a white paper about this bullshit later, but I don't have time to bring it home. It is a lot, but I think you're right. You know, we carry so much in, but I want to be thoughtful and I want to get to the rules of hoeing because I think there are some really good boundaries you can set for yourself. Mm-hmm. One, my first rule is eat food before you go out. Nobody needs a messy, hammered mess. You don't need that. You need to take care of yourself. You're going to have a
bad time. If you don't eat before you go out, okay, you're going to have a bad time.
You need to have a good wing person, even if they're not out with you, somebody to contact so they know where you are. Oh. Look at you, Eileen.
Whatever could you be talking about, Brooke? I was very diligent about texting you when I had an illicit liaison, an illicit rendezvous with a gentleman caller. See, I think I mentioned before when I start getting uncomfortable about topics, I talk like I'm in a Jane Austen novel. But listen, so I would go out, I would meet gentlemen callers on the internet, and before I would go somewhere, I would text Brooke. The address that I was going to, followed by a coffin emoji. And this might be getting a little bit dark on the dish this evening, but that meant this is where you can find the body in case things go down. And let me tell you, it really worked out. So,
That is hilarious. Yes. We actually have an idea for an app that hasn't happened yet. where if your wireless picks you up, we got really, so like we're gonna download an app that like you and your girlfriends or your friends can all be hooked up to.
Yes.
And then like I put in the beginning of the night, I'm out with Eileen and Penny. And Eileen and are going out of town. It's gonna be so fun. And then once we are reconnected to our home wireless,
yeah,
it would send an automatic prompt
notification
that they were in their wireless, and a text was like, I'm home safe. But then I'm like, well, what if you're in a hostage situation in your own home?
That's true. I mean,
I watch too much Criminal Minds.
Maybe you do, girl. I mean, you know,
I do watch too much Criminal Minds. I also like have been watching too much like Law and Order, Criminal Minds, and people are like, "Oh, when you become a lawyer, you're not even gonna like those shows." I'm like, no, I still think they're trash, and I love every minute of them. But now, like when I'm out on the street, I'm just like constantly thinking everyone is a serial killer. It's a really good place to be in as we come out of a pandemic. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dominique, Alex. First of all, thank you. Those glasses are very special to me. And second of all, thank you. They say that is a very excellent idea for an app. So.
Hi, Dom. Yay.
Thank you. Coming soon to a smartphone near you.
We also like one night, Eileen and I and her partner, who's also in IT, got into like a 3-hour conversation about the logistics of it and then walked away and never brought it up again. It was magical. Anyway. Yeah,
well, you know, doing a startup, it's a full-time job. Trying to manage all that without any, you know, you have to do it all yourself. It's a lot. So
we have enough on our dish. Anyways, what are your Hoin rules, girl?
Well, eating is a really good one because as we're approaching summer, especially some of us that are prone to crash diets and are particularly susceptible. Now, I don't know about you, girl, but I tend to be pretty susceptible to images on the internet, Instagram, you know, social media. You see ads. I see ads all the time that are like, oh, you know, use this skincare routine, or like, here's what's your body type. You know, it's like it's stuff that's been going on forever, ever since we started. Capitalism has started commodifying people's bodies and selling products to them to make you just unhappy enough that you'll keep buying more products. That's the vicious cycle. So I go through this every year. I'm a slingshot dieter. Hi, my name is Eileen Galvin and I'm a slingshot dieter, and it's not healthy. I will like starve myself for a few days, not literally, like I'll eat some food, but I will not eat enough calories, and then I'll have a cheat meal, and then it's just back and forth. It's not good for my system. Yeah. So I would say, if you are going to diet, that's totally fine. If you're not going to diet, go you. That is also valid. But if you are going to do it, just make sure that you're listening to your body and getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, consuming enough calories every day. Because that's the thing that I always, when I'm not thinking about it for just long enough, then I'm like, why am I miserable every day? Why am I so tired? And you know what? When I'm miserable and tired every day, I don't feel sexy.
Right.
I just feel miserable and tired. So I'm going to snatch up some of those chickpeas and stick them in my purse.
Girl, stick them in your purse. I do think that is, I always appreciate your vulnerability. And I think it is one of those things where, you know, we're coming out of this phase, and I think, you know, the pandemic isn't over. Stay masked, all the things. And a lot of us are leaving the pandemic, this phase of the pandemic, hopefully the worst phase of the pandemic, coming out with different bodies than when we came in. And I don't necessarily mean like exclusive weight gain. Like when I was a personal trainer, I don't know if y'all know, but before I was an opera singer, actually after I was an opera singer, before I was a lawyer, I was a personal trainer. And
you've lived so many lives, Brooke.
I've lived so many lives, one for every crow's foot. But you know, what was so interesting kind of about that phase of my life is I ended up training a lot of women. And all of the women I trained, you know, were trying to get back to something.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
And it's the weight I wanted to be in high school. It's the weight before a kid. It's the weight before my 3 kids. It's the weight before my mom had to move in with me and I've been taking care of her. It's the weight before I got this great job as a nurse and I had to shift to nights. like it was everything, and it was this. I want to get back to this thing in the past, and one of the conversations I had every day, which I think was one of the ways I broke through sometimes, was to say, you know, your body is completely different. In some cases, pregnancy literally changes your skeletons, like your skeletal structure. So like it is literally a different body. You are, it's Revenge of the Body Snatchers. It's a different body, but everybody, right? Like, yeah, like your muscles are different. Everything is different.
That's terrifying. That's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail for the show. It's
yes, leave it like that. I'm gonna
not clickbait.
But you know, it like you got to move on in the way where it's like, okay, your hips are literally a different shape now. Yeah. Or the way your muscles are managing your joint pain, they're manifesting different, and your shoulders look different. Like there's just a million things. And I just think kind of the acknowledgement of there's no way we can come out of the trauma of the last year and a half on our bodies and look the same, and just like honor that with grace.
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard to honor our bodies with grace on an average day.
Oh, fuck. Also, for the record, I like am totally dealing with that with my arm, like, because I can't even straighten it still. And like,
oh yeah, girl.
And like all the shit. So I'm not winning any awards over here. I'm just like, why doesn't my arm straighten?
Yeah.
You know, there's all this shit that like you went into the pandemic and it was just a completely different body.
Yeah, everything fell off the rails for me. I went, so I think like a lot of people, I was pretty traumatized at the beginning. I didn't want to accept that it was real. I sort of went through the stages of grief, but when coping with the reality that this is where we're going to be at for quite some time. And I also started working from home, so I wasn't walking around campus. And sometimes, oh girl, you should see me in a butch moment. I put on some sweatpants and I'm climbing under desks and zip tying things down. I'm very IT.
Oh my god! I need a second. Do you have a carabiner on your keys?
I do have a carabiner. Thank you very much, because they're useful.
That's the thumbnail.
Yeah. You thought I was a bottom. Turns out I'm a switch. No, that's ugh.
Oh my god! Cut it. Cut it in post. Cut it in post.
Can we get... Oh, I'm talking to myself again? Okay, great.
So you look good doing it, girl.
Why, thank you. So I was not active. I was sitting all day, and I started to realize that I'd go up a flight of stairs, and I was winded. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be winded going up a flight of stairs. I started working out again. I've been on and off. It's just been like, I cannot find a routine, and I think that's part of my personality. But a couple weeks ago, I started working out again. And let me tell you, I have this little app called Female Fitness. I hate that. I hate that name. I'm like, excuse me, there's more than just that. But so I do this app, and it's like, you know, do 6 burpees and then do mountain climbers and then do wall push-ups and whatever. It's like sort of like a holistic kind of workout. It's really great. It keeps my circulation system good. It keeps a little bit of tone in there. Not trying to win any awards here. And the first time I did it, after a couple months of not doing it, I was just like, you know, when you work out for the first time in a while and you're like, I am trash. Like, I can't lift. I'm like the princess and the pea over here. Like, I can't do a single thing. But
also, for the record, you have won the burlesque Olympics, Burley Picks last year.
Also, by the way, you did win an award.
So I'm just gonna say, Eileen won the award. Okay, sorry, keep going.
Thank you. I did win Best Overall in Ohio Burley Picks 2020, which was a virtual competition.
So she didn't win any awards except that award. Anyways, keep going. No, but I think that's like, you know, an acknowledgement that, and maybe in people kind of like reestablishing their relationship maybe with food or their body or whatever over the pandemic. It's been really different. I fucking hate the New York Times, and I love the New York Times, and I hate it again. But it was like, everyone's just learning how to cook in the pandemic. I'm like, yeah, if you're poor and you can't order takeout all the time, yes, you are. But like, you're not featuring those recipes. You know, like everyone's kind of just redeveloped this everything, maybe a different budget for food or a different budget for fitness and no access to gyms. And there's just so much that like you could be coming out. What we're saying is you could be a hoe however you are, come as you are. Yes. To all of the queer spaces this summer.
Oh, come as you are, and give yourself some space and gratitude to just you made it through the pandemic, and there is a lot of as adverse effects that were that we're not dealing with yet because I think we don't have the spoons to deal with them, and we might not understand the long-term effects of it for a long time. I mean, cooking, hello, can we talk about, not just body image and fitness, but let's talk about isolation, mental health, suicide, eye strain. I'm looking at screens like more hours a day than I was before.
Also, can we talk about the phrase, we don't have the spoons to talk? What is that? Tell me everything. Midwest pop off. What?
I think it's from the game Spoons. Have you know about Spoons? Have you ever played Spoons?
No. What the fuck is spoons?
It's like one of those parlor games when you go from the parlor to the drawing room for the evening.
Okay.
And the men are in one room having a smoke, and the women are in the other room collecting all the spoons and playing a nice little parlor game.
There's a parlor game called Spoons?
I mean, I don't know if it was a parlor game, but yeah, there's a
Okay,
game
first
called
of all,
Spoons.
this is why I'm not femme enough. This is why I get kicked out. This is
Haven't
why
you ever played bridge?
That's also the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I love this. I love hoe as you are.
Yeah.
And definitely definitely bring spoons.
Oh yes, Dom, thank you for keeping us grounded. So in the current vernacular, spoons is a term that people with chronic health conditions use to describe how much energy they have to do things. Yes.
What? I love that.
Yes. And I like the term
great.
reservoir because I like to imagine that I have a reservoir of resources. For me, it's like an extrovert-introvert balance. So like when I spend enough time with people, my reservoir gets depleted. And when it's depleted, I have to realize like, oh, I need to spend some time alone so I can replenish.
I do the reverse. So my reservoir is like, I need to see people to fill up. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good. So I've been like scraping the bottom of the reservoir for 13 months. Okay, real honest friend moment. Okay, I have my first night tonight. I will be on stage for the first time ever in Miami tonight.
Miss Ma'am,
I'm really excited.
Coming through with the first show in Florida. Get your fucking life. Come back next week. Tell us all about it. Oh my
girl,
goodness.
I'm going to. I'm very excited.
I know you will. Speaking of hot girl shit, you're about to step out on the town and get lit on. You're about to twirl on these hoes. I can't wait to hear all about it.
I'm so excited.
Get your everyday life.
It's gonna be great. I am gonna break a leg. I have the perfect road snack.
That's
fits
the thumbnail.
Right in the middle console. It fits right in that middle console. I love you so much. I love all our viewers who right now the active one is Dom, and Dom, I do love Dom.
Yes.
I love you so much, and we will have to. I think we have to continue the whole conversation because I feel like we got off track. Rules for hoeing. We need to get it right.
We need to get ourselves right. And on that note, this has been Covered Dish with Brooke Curtis and Eileen Galvin. Please remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and find us on Instagram at Covered Dish. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for the next dish. Bye.